All right, let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks. So this just happened. I think there was some very, very, very subtle remarks made throughout the week, but I don't think anyone really took them super seriously. But Pete Carroll is out as the head coach. He is possibly going to transition to kind of an upper role in the organization. So no requests have been made yet in terms of people they want to interview. But something I did see is that every single time, like every single tweet that came out, there was someone quoting it saying, expect Dan Quinn to be interviewed, like expect him to be. And obviously he was in Seattle previously, but it's like the people that were reporting it were like actual like insiders that like typically will leak information, like Adam Schefter, Garofalo, people like that. So my thing is, who do you see as like kind of like potential candidates for the Seahawks outside of Dan Quinn? Even though Dan Quinn, in my opinion, would make a lot of sense.
No, I think mine outside of Dan Quinn. But to your original point before we start recording, the Seahawks are probably one of the very few teams that would make more sense, crazy, but more sense, taking the defensive head coach, right? But on that same side of things, knowing that you're gonna have to, not even likely, have to move on from Geno sooner than later here, it's like, it also makes just as much sense to get the young offensive guy in the building. So I'd say, like, with that said, I think the three top guys for the Seahawks, no doubt, it's definitely got to be, and there's no doubt about it, it's got to be Quinn at 1, and then probably Ben Johnson at 2, and then same thing with Slovic. I feel like if you could get Slovic at 3, that's also a great scenario. But then also back to, I mentioned it earlier, but for the Seahawks, I feel like perhaps Raheem Morris also too is one of the defensive guys that maybe getting the building wouldn't be terrible. But I think that I would definitely put him towards the more bottom of the list. I'm just trying to think, like, again, because like I said, I'm trying to give like 2 for each or 3 for each. Like, the Seahawks are in a realm where the defense or offense, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. No matter what, just make sure you get the right guy.
Yeah, I think a big thing too is like it is an enticing team because they do have a lot of talent. Like they have DK Metcalf, they have Kenneth Walker, JSN, Noah Fan even. They have Zach Charbonnet. But my thing is like that quarterback position is really up in the air. And it's just like you see what you have with Geno, and it's like whatever you did last year and what you did this year, I feel like that's kind of like the ceiling with him. Like you have you're a first round playoff team at most, in my opinion. And being, a team that is on the edge of that, they're currently picking 16th. You're in like kind of Penix, Bo Nix area.
I was thinking for them potentially, like, honestly, the way that they are right now, Bo Nix honestly might, you know what? Bo Nix might be a Seahawk.
Would it be a far travel? Oregon?
That is crazy. So that's what I was just about to say. As I'm seeing it right now, like the range they're in, Bo Nix just might be a Seahawk. But there's going to be plenty to be determined come combine time and all that, pro day. But as of right now, I can definitely see that.
Okay. Yeah, I think this situation isn't too crazy. I don't think it's one of the most attractive out of all these teams, but I also don't think it's one of those where it's like a Panthers where it's like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Like,
unless they drop $20 million on your lap a season, like,
yeah, and like Pete Carroll's culture was good, so it's not like you're walking into a locker room that is completely distraught. Like,
oh, that's the thing is, they know that Pete's still going to be. He's overseeing them. It's like Pete's still here. Pete's still in the building. Like,
and I feel like that's why almost Dan Quinn makes the most sense for them to go back.
It's not even close. They have Dan Quinn merchandise to the day, like not to the day they're still selling, but you can like go find the Quinn's Course merchandise and stuff. Like it just makes too much sense.
Too much sense.
Too much sense.